Hey friends, in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to create this super cute stop motion video using your phone and our app Lapse. If you haven't downloaded our stop motion app yet, please head to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and download it before you start this tutorial. This stop motion tutorial is one of 12 in our series 12 Ways to Animate One Scene. You can see all the different videos here, and I'll link to the playlist to access all the other tutorials down below. I'm also going to link to our Getting Started video. If you haven't watched this yet, I highly recommend giving it a watch before you start these tutorials. In it, I teach the fundamentals to creating a polished and professional looking stop motion video. Alright, let's dive into our tutorial. This is a behind the scenes look of my setup. As you can see, I'm blocking the natural daylight to avoid flicker. I've got my hard light, which I'll link also down below in the description. And we've got our phone and obviously a tripod. Before we dive into the tutorial, we're going to turn our auto lock settings to never so that our phone doesn't lock while we're animating and shooting our video. We're going to animate this backwards. So you see the cutting board comes in and then the limes get added. However, we're going to start with the limes already in the scene. When the limes come in, they go back and forth, back and forth. However, we're going to make that effect in editing. So don't worry about having to do it back and forth while you're animating, because we can just replicate those frames to give it that kind of boomerang appearance after. So push the big blue button, start a new project, and we're going to lock our exposure, white balance, and focus. I am shooting with a Bluetooth remote here, so I don't have to keep touching my camera. You can use our interval timer if you want. And now we're making tiny little movements, and we're using our ghosted image overlay to help figure out how far we have to move it. So you can see I'm just moving the limes out in the opposite direction of each other. And actually, no, I'm taking them away now. So I remove those limes, and now what I'm doing is I want these limes to spin. So I am slowly moving them around and taking all my shots. In editing after, I realized that there was too much spinning of the line, so I ended up deleting a bunch of these frames. However, I do recommend just shooting in the moment, and then you can always delete later. That way you have the frames and you have the option to choose, versus if you don't shoot enough, then it's going to be hard to go back. You're probably going to have to restart from scratch. So I'm still spinning. All right, now we're moving the limes out a little bit. I realized I wanted to have one move out at a time, so I did the full lime first, and then now I'm moving out the half cut lime. Once that was out of frame, take a picture with it out of frame, and then I slowly move the cutting board out of frame along with the leaf. Again, use the ghosted image feature so you can see how far you have to move it. And then with this leaf here, it's like reaching the end of the table. And I just held it in shot for this next one, just so that I can still get it a little bit in shot and it's more of a gradual. All right, so now we're gonna dive into editing. The left is what it looks like before editing, and after is our end result. To get into editing, you push play from the top right corner of the screen there. You can see here it's not reversed yet, so right away I'm going into the editor down at the bottom and I'm reversing it. Excuse my chipped nails. So now it's coming in, but do you see how like slow it is? So we're going to change the speed. So see how at the very end, the limes are only there for like a second and then it stops. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create the hold effect for the lime so that they play a bit slower than the rest of the video. So how we're going to achieve this look is you can either click on it and freeze the frame for a second, or you can manually add them. So because I don't want it for the full second, what I'm doing now is, one, I'm duplicating these frames to go, well, one, to go right after the next frame so that it creates that hold effect. So if there's two of the same frame playing back to back, it's going to create kind of like a freeze effect. Since this video is played at a high speed, I have to duplicate them a few times in order to create that hold effect, so the limes at the end play a bit slower. So in addition to creating the pause effect, we also need to duplicate the whole sequence of the limes moving so that it does have that back and forth effect for longer than half of a second, like what we saw previously. So what I'm doing now is I'm selecting the frames and I'm duplicating them to the end of the project. Now that I've added them to the end of the project, we're going to repeat that same process as before and duplicate them to the next frame to create that hold effect. So I boomerang that just to see how it looked. When you boomerang it right now in the editor, the timeline below that you see that's moving right now, it doesn't move when you push play if the boomerang's enabled. So that's why I just disabled it while I'm editing so that I can see the frames move below as it's playing. Right now, I am deleting frames from that lime spinning on the side. So remember how I said it was spinning for way too long before? So what I've done here is I just deleted a couple. I kind of intertwine them, so I did one like every other frame I deleted, so that if I deleted 3 frames back to back, the rotating would get kind of skewed because it would be on one side and then it would be completely on the other side without having that motion. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Okay, so I didn't like, there's a bit of a glitch at the end where it moved, so now I'm basically redoing the end of the kind of back and forth line movement. So again, I deleted 1 or 2 of the frames and now I'm making the last frame, technically the second last frame, and I'm duplicating them at the end. This is real behind the scenes footage of me editing. I want to show the whole process. I truly believe that editing will make or break your video. So I want to be transparent on the journey and take you behind the full creative process of how I edit. I don't want to cut out parts where maybe something didn't work out, because you can see what I did to adjust it. All right, let's give this video a play and see how it's looking now. We'll scroll to the very beginning, push play. So the lines at the end are moving, not the spinning ones, but the ones that are dancing. They're moving super quick, and I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into those frames, and I'm going to duplicate the images to go right after the next frame so we can create that hold effect and make those limes dance a little bit slower. They're just a little too out of control for me, guys. So that's what we're doing here. Now let's see how it looks with that. Let's boomerang it. I'm also going to adjust the brightness. This seriously brings it to a nice polished look. I don't know, do you guys think this looks like it was shot in a professional studio? Because that's what I think, but maybe I'm biased. Let me know in the comments. Okay, what are we doing next here? I'm going to disable the boomerang because there needs to be some more editing done. I am going to delete more of this spinning lime. It's too long. I think it's too long. We need to get to these dancing limes sooner. So I'm going to delete the rotating lime a bit more. And again, I disabled the boomerang feature because you can't drag the timeline like you see here, where it shows up in the player as you drag when the boomerang is enabled. We're hoping to improve this soon, in development. It's on the list, so stay tuned for that. What am I doing now? Okay, so we're going to make the dancing longer. And what I mean by longer is instead of it going back and forth twice, if we duplicate it to the end of the project, we'll have it dance 3 times instead of 2. And to get the dancing, I believe it's 2 frames. I hope this isn't getting too complicated, but basically it moves from the left to the right. So we're not just duplicating the left one every time to the end of the project. We're duplicating the left, and then we're duplicating the right to the end. And then that's how you get that whole extra dance moving. So instead of it being only dancing twice, it dances 3 times. Boomerang is just a perfect option because it makes the video so much more loopable, and it's more seamless because the video is going to play on repeat on Instagram. So instead of having the limes, we're going to make the limes dance a bit longer here. Sorry, trying to explain too many things at once. But because Instagram autoplays, if you didn't boomerang this, it would start with none of the limes, and then it would end with that, and then it would just cut to it being empty again. So it's not as seamless as a transition versus if you boomeranged it. I am making these move, these limes dance even more. And again, as a reminder, I'm not moving these frames. I am duplicating them to the end. We need to update that. That is a glitch in our app, and I'm sorry. We will fix it. I really love how the scene animates in, and then the focus can be on the drink for a while and have the subtle animation of the dancing limes. Because if it was just to go in and out right away, how does your audience have a chance to even look at your beautiful drink or whatever your subject is? You can insert whatever your object is that you're animating and substitute it for the drink. It's the primary focus of your video. So do what you need to do to create that hold effect or playful animation to your video. I am super happy with how this turned out. Next up, we're going to add royalty-free music. Okay, I love this one. Let's add it, see how it looks. Cute, I love this sound. It sounds beachy, which is just the vibe we're going for. Since I know I want to post this to Instagram vertical, which is a 4:5 ratio, I am going to go ahead and crop this. You can go into our tilt feature and actually drag and reposition the crop. It's not very obvious because it says tilt, but if you just place your finger on the video and drag it down, you can reposition and even change the angle. I'm pretty happy with the angle, so I'm not really going to change it. Just did that so you can see what it looks like. All right, it's bright, it's beautiful, the movement is amazing, the sound, I love the sound. Okay, a friendly reminder of what we started out with when we got into our editor after we reversed it and changed the speed. There's no dancing limes, it's super quick, it just comes in and out. Those spinning limes are way too long. This one is way cuter in my opinion. The spinning isn't as long and the focus can really be on that beautiful drink. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please smash that like button. It really helps our brand grow and get these tutorials in front of more eyes. If you recreate this video and post it to social media, I would absolutely love to see what you've created. Please tag and follow us at @LifeLapseApp for a chance to get featured on our Instagram page. Do you want to learn how to create really eye-catching videos all from your phone? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as we're always putting out more stop motion video tutorials. Thanks for watching.